I just watched an influencer, a woman, talk about what she thinks a simulation is. And, I hear so many different, and I've watched and listened to so many different derivations of this, their interpretations of the simulation, that they do their best, but they're wrong. They're wrong. And the reason I know they're wrong is because the download I got that explains it, and it's in book 2, that explains what the simulation is very, very clearly. The simulation is something that's been developed over a long period of time so that people think that they're living a life that is under their control. They think that their thoughts are absolutely their own. And they think that the observable quantum field is creating that reality. That's a logical thing to sort of and conclusion to come to. But what if, and the what if is not an if, this is how it works. If you wanted to separate God from man and God from woman, what you would do is create an alternative reality. And you would have that bloodline, those generations, it would take, and it's taken generation after generation, to think that the life that they're living under societal rulings and all of the crap that goes on is actually real life. Well, it's one reality, but it's been created by a control system that's been in control of this planet for 45,000 years, and it's called the Chimera species. So instead of us, and I'll say it again, we're the only species that pays to live on this planet. We're the only species that pays. If we don't go and expend energy to earn money, paper, that's given value by somebody else, to buy things to survive, you die. It's black and white. The simulation is a manufactured and very tightly controlled reality to keep humanity separated from their true self, which is the God within. That's the only way they can control you and control us. They don't control me because I've seen it. I've seen the simulation. I looked at it. I see separation. I mean, I go out there now, and I don't go out that often actually, because it's just so in your face. I just think, I stand back and I look at it, maybe in a busy train station, the SkyTrain station, or in a super mall or something. And people are all rushing around like, there's heaven itself's going to fall on their fucking head, or hell. And it's like they can't get enough of everything as quick as they possibly can. We can't get to this from point A to point B quick enough. Get out of my way. Hurry up. What are they doing? It's this madness, mass madness, a consciousness feeding other consciousnesses in a frantic way that's how life has to be lived. Going up and down the same freeways every day. 6 o'clock in the morning, out of bed, get up. rush down some breakfast, jump in the car, drive down the same freeway, onto the tollway, park the car, get into the office, whatever you're doing. Do this, create that, meetings, whatever. Jump in the car. It's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Drive back down the same freeway. Go home. That is a life on automatic. That is a routine, habitual doctrine that's been imposed upon you, and you don't even, the masses, when I say you, the masses don't even see what they're doing. And if they do ever just take a step back and question it, what are they going to do about it? Not much. You see, debt is the problem. I've never had debts in my life because I knew that once you have a debt, your life is encumbered. There's no freedom in that. You can't do anything that you want to do. You're free range at best. Maybe you get 4 weeks of holiday a year. Wow. Big deal. You know, you're conforming to a meme. And every meme has to have a control system. And guess who the mimics are that create that meme? The masses, the participants. That's the stage for the simulation. The simulation has been orchestrated, constructed, and every time they put in another element of that construction, it pulled the human being further and further away from the source, from God. Their souls became more and more fractured because there is no reckoning point. There's no reference point that you can say, hang on a minute, what the hell am I doing? And as I said, people can say that, but what are they going to do about it? The only thing you can do about it is pull away from it. What I do personally, and I actually stayed inside this room. This is a 51 square metre bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, living room. And I stayed inside here for 1 year and wrote 3 books. 2 of them were transmissions. I only left this apartment to go any distance when I went to a hospital to get some repeat drops for glaucoma. They put those drops you've got to keep in the fridge. There's a 7-Eleven about 250 metres away. I would walk there maybe once every 10 days. Fortunately, I've got a maid that will go and get my stuff from fresh markets and whatever. I pay her to go and do that. Now, for 1 year, I didn't go out. And what I did was, I detached myself from the simulation. I put the gap there, and I worked on myself with mirror work, candle work, breath work. I'd learnt the disciplines of the Gnostic teachings, the ancient mystery schools from 1989. Apart from writing the 3 books, I did those disciplines almost every day. And then when I eventually, so that's now 14 months ago, so the last 2 months, I've gone back out into the simulation again. but I don't participate in it. I walk the edges of it. I don't own a car. I have no relationship. I live alone. I live in solitude by design, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Not at the moment. Not at the moment. Am I happy? In a way. Am I satisfied with my life? In a way. Will this be the way I will continue to live? No. Because I'm in central Bangkok. That is not the way God intended us to live. It is not here. I need to be in nature. I need to be away. I need to hear the wind. I need to be near running water. I need to see greenery. Although there's a park, and I go into the kitchen, I look at a whole vista of a park out through the doors that go out onto the balcony. People walking and whatever, dogs and whatever. I used to go and walk there, but it's a small area, and now I don't even bother with that. Simulation is not this mystical thing. Simulation is orchestrated. As I said, it's been constructed over a long period of time by the Chimera species, which is a hierarchy of control. And I spoke about this before. This is what we are within the simulation, or what the masses are. I'm not going to include myself in that anymore because I've seen it and I've done the work to detach from it. Is a energetic farm, and again, I'll say it again, I've said it in another video, and the participants are you under a meme. You're mimicking being. You're mimicking a being, a human being, but you're not really connected to the source of that being. You're connected to the simulation to be able to survive under all of that protocol, all of those rules, regulations, and fucking bullshit. The Chimera species set this up 45,000 years ago. It's taken them to get it to this point. AI now is going to be the next downturn for the devolution of the human soul, its consciousness, and eventually its demise. Humanity is heading for extinction. Written about it. This is not my prophetic take. This is transmissions from the other side, from the mind of God. I was ruptured. I've talked about this and how to get yourself ruptured, but this has already been spoken about. But the simulation is not anything else but a constructed reality that you operate within. You think you have free will, but you don't. You don't. The thoughts that you have in your head, that you think that you're creating this incredible reality, that you're in full control, is within a paradigm, and you can't go outside that paradigm. You're not allowed to. You can't do it. You're always feeding the simulation. Always. If you're participating in it, just like Max Egan says, he's been an influencer on YouTube and other channels for a long time. Max does walk the edge of the simulation because he has a car and he's got to pay the registration on that car. He's got to put gasoline in it. I also walk the edge only just to survive. That's it. So your thoughts go via a node system. They go to a node system, then they're transmitted. Your brain picks it up, and then you think the way the chimera species wants you to think within the simulation for the sake of the simulation's operations, and they feed on that energy. We are the energy supply for the simulation that they feed off of. And they sit as a hierarchy in a corridor between, and I've mentioned this before, between the third and the fourth dimension. There is a corridor there. They have AI manned drones there to make sure there's no consciousness that's popping its head out above 3D. I did a lot, and I was bleeding into the upper quadrants of 4D into 5D. They didn't like that. They sent a craft to contain me. But this is all written in book 1. I've spoken about it before. But they couldn't do it. Instead, they ruptured my neurology, part of the brain called the parietal precuneus, above the right ear, slightly forward, and that allowed 0-point vantage to see exactly what this was all about. You know, I can't put the genie back in the bottle anymore. Anyway, it's in book 1, and book 2 you can, the silent cull. Global collapse, 2025 to 2065. Check it out. The book will be released on Amazon in a Kindle version. Book 1's going to be there tomorrow, I think. Put it up yesterday. And then book 2, I've got a little bit of editing. That'll go up. All for now.